Welcome to On the Verge. This is Zach Spedden, joined as always by Bob Phelan and Nick Stevens. And on tonight's episode, we're very happy to be joined by a special guest. He is the co-hitting coach of the Baltimore Orioles alongside Ryan Fuller. He was hired by the team prior to the 2022 season. He is Matt Borgschulte. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure to have you, and thank you for joining us. So we'll start with this, which was there was a lot of talk coming into this season about the arrangement of having two hitting coaches. Now that we're nearing the halfway point of the major league season, is everything going according to plan? And are there ways that have been easier than expected and ways that have been harder than expected?
I think it's gone excellent. I think my partner in Ryan Fuller has been, everything I could have imagined. We're pretty much on the same page on every aspect of the game, and I think the biggest compliment that we have to each other is that we don't care who gets the credit, or we're not looking for any specific title or anything. We just want to do the best that we can to help the players have success, and I think that's really led to a great relationship that we've started.
Yeah, we talked to Ryan Fuller last year, and he seemed like a really good guy. How much background did you have on him before you joined the Orioles?
Not a lot. Just known him from being in the game, and one of the hitting coaches now for the Red Sox, Peter Fatsi. He was the hitting coordinator for the Twins when I was there, and he knew Ryan from UConn, so he had some good things to say about him before we even met. But right when we started our relationship, I could tell that we were going to get along well, and things were going to be, it was going to be a good spot for me to come.
Nice. Going back to the beginning of the year here, how tough was it for maybe you personally with the shortened spring training, rush start to the season, as you're trying to adjust to this new organization and with a lot of new players in the Major League roster as well? How were you able to adjust to that so quickly?
Yeah, that was certainly a challenge. I mean, coming to a new organization and trying to develop those relationships and kind of making that all shortened into a shortened time, coming off the lockout as well, where we didn't even have time to kind of develop things on the phone or anything. Certainly a challenge, but I think we have a lot of really great guys, and the rest of the staff has helped a ton. So it's actually been, a really good thing for me to do just as we start to get to know these guys. And I've been very impressed with the organization.
We've heard a lot this year about swing decisions and about that approach that you've implemented with the hitters, and it seems to be working throughout the whole organization, not just at the major league level. Have you been able to see improvement on that front as the season has gone on?
Certainly. I mean, that's something that, is one of our staples that we continue to talk about with the guys is, if we want to hit the ball hard, we want to do damage. If we want to have success at the plate, it starts with swinging at good pitches. So we're continuing to preach good swing decisions, and guys have done a great job working on that.
A few of those guys in particular, Austin Hayes, Trey Mancini, Ramon Arias, Mel Castle, Santander, we've noticed that all of those guys have improved in at least two of these three categories: in hard hit percentage, walk percentage, and strikeout percentage. All these numbers are trending in the right direction across the entire organization, really. What can that be attributed to?
Well, I think part of it is these guys are really working hard. They have made a commitment to be the best player that they can be. And, as coaches, we're here to give them everything that they need in order to help them achieve, whatever they want to do. And really it's up to the player on how much they want to put into it. And those guys have made a strong commitment, and we're just here helping out as best we can.
Jorge Mateo is electric in the field and on the bases. And he has some pop at the plate. There's times when he's had a better eye than others, but how can he make improvements when he's up to bat to cement himself as a regular on a contending team rather than a role player?
Yeah, Jorge's, you're exactly right. Watching him play defense and watching him play the game in general is exciting. The explosiveness and speed and athleticism is off the charts. Offensively, he's been really working hard, and I think he's going to continue to improve as he gets more experience in recognizing pitches and kind of understanding how the pitcher's trying to attack him and what he needs to do to combat that. But I'll tell you what, he's been working really hard and saw some good things last series. Hopefully continue that.
Cedric Mullins, when you look at his numbers, obviously down from his sensational 2021 campaign, yet he has a similar hard hit rate, strikeout rate, and average exit velocity as compared to last year. Walk rate and barrel rate are down, and launch angle is up. What does he have to do to get his production back on track?
I think Ced's already made some really good adjustments offensively, and his swing is in a really good spot right now. We saw some more hard hit balls this past series, and he's a hard worker. He gets in the cage, does what he needs to do, and puts himself in position at the plate to have success. And it's fun watching him once he starts getting going, and I think it's coming soon.
Top prospect Adley Rutschman got off to a slow start, but much like Julio Rodriguez and Bobby Witt Jr. is looking much more like the player that had so much success in the minor leagues after an adjustment period. What has it been like working with him?
Yeah, he's a fun guy to work with for sure. We have a lot of talent within this organization at the major league level, at the minor league level, and getting to work with Adley has been great. It's been impressive to watch him make the adjustments necessary at the major league level to kind of turn things around after a slow start. And it'll be exciting to see him as we continue to progress throughout the season.
It really seems like he never really wavers from that patient approach that he's shown going down his days in Delmarva, watching him play. And now in the big leagues, the approach at the plate just doesn't seem to change with Rutschman. Is his approach really beyond his years at this point?
I would say so. And that was something that we knew coming in that was exciting for us, that, he's probably going to struggle a little bit at the beginning, but we know that with him making good swing decisions and making solid contact frequently, that it's just going to be a matter of time before he makes those adjustments. And now we're starting to see him have a little bit more success at the plate.
Nice. When speaking of Rutschman being a top prospect, now some minor league focused podcast is a great interest to us, but it's really great to see him have this much success at the major league level already. But when he comes up and kind of as a lot of people expect, even your top prospects are going to have that adjustment period to the major league game. What are you and Ryan talking with him about off the field when he's going through this adjustment period? Because we've heard, especially from your side of things, that being able to connect with these guys is a really important part of the process with you. So what goes on behind the scenes with Rutschman during this time?
Well, I think he has a really great mindset, and I think he understands, that he wasn't going to be able to come up here and just dominate as much as he has in his previous experience. But I think it's just a matter of time, like we said before, he was going to start breaking out. And I think having Ryan with a previous relationship with him and being able to establish, that through the minor leagues. They get along really well, and he does a great job of understanding, what he needs each day to be prepared for that game.
Have you been able to follow the minor league affiliates while you're certainly busy at the major league level? Because a lot of encouraging progress down there this year, in particular with some of the players that are close to you at AAA right now. It's Jordan Westberg, Kyle Stowers, and Gunnar Henderson. So how do you check in on the minor leagues?
Yeah, me and Fuller have constant communication with our minor league coordinators, our AAA hitting coach, Cody Ashey, Anthony Villa, and Tim Gibbons. So we watch them all the time, and it was great being able to connect with some of those guys in spring training, some of the early camps, and to kind of see how they work and what they're good at and what they need to improve. And I tell you what, it was impressive to see Stowers for a series there and see how much he's improved even since spring training. So they're doing a great job with these kids, and the kids are doing a great job of working their butt off on what they need to improve.
Yeah, and speaking of Stowers, he did get that brief taste in the majors when the team traveled to Toronto, despite only playing in 2 games over 4 days. What was he able to learn and take back with him to AAA to work on?
Yeah, I think he learned about how difficult it is, and how when you step into that box and then the guy's got good stuff, you never really know what he's going to do to you. And I think he understands what he needs to work on, and he's hammering it out. They're doing a great job with him in terms of the minor league hitting coaches in getting him to the positions that he needs to be to have success at the plate. I think it's impressive to see and very encouraging to see some progress from previous seasons in the areas that he's working on. And man, he's got some bat speed, he's got some length through the zone, and he's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, it seems like with some other coaches and instructors and even players in the minor leagues that we've talked to this season, it really feels like an important part of the development process has been the creation of this culture of where it's okay to fail at a lot of times with these guys. But how does that translate to the major league game when you're going out there and you got to face, a Garrett Cole one night, and then you could end up facing, like a Shane McClanahan the next night. And it's every single day, every single night in that AL East division. How does that process translate to the major league level?
Yeah, I think it translates to the major league level maybe even more because they're aware of how nasty these guys are. They've faced them before, and they know I better get ready if I'm going to try to hit this thing. So when we're in the cage environment, pregame stuff, we're trying to challenge them as best we can, and they're looking for it because they know when come game time and they step into that box, what they're going to see is going to be pretty good stuff. So we try to replicate that and make it even more challenging than the game if possible. Sometimes it's not as easy with some of the stuff that these guys are throwing, but I think the players are doing an excellent job of challenging themselves in practice so that they're even more prepared when they step into the box.
Speaking of those just nasty pitchers, it almost seems like pitching development has been maybe ahead of the hitting development a little bit for the last couple of years in terms of just baseball in general. But due to the defensive nature of hitters kind of having to react to what pitchers are attacking them with, are we close to seeing an advancement on the hitter side with these machines that you guys are using in camps that can kind of simulate specific pitches and other methods?
Certainly, I think so. I mean, we're always working to try to get these players as good as we can possibly make them, and what new training tactics or machines or balls or whatever we can use to help these guys get better. And we're gonna continue to work and do research on the swing, like always, and we're gonna continue to do research on the other team, on the pitchers, on their tendencies and how they're attacking each guy. I think that's going to give us the best chance to have success at the plate and continue these guys' development and working hard to square the ball up.
I think one of the biggest success stories so far in the major league season for the Orioles has been Austin Hayes. We've been following his career for years, and it's always been, if he can just stay healthy, if he can just get regular at bats in, he could turn into a pretty good player. Yet it feels like he's maybe exceeding some of those early expectations with the year that he's having, and he's frankly a legitimate all-star contender right now. What kind of work has he put in to get better this season?
He's put in some great work. It's been awesome to see, and he's a leader in that front. He's always asking for some mixed BP or some something that's going to be a little bit more challenging, something he knows he's going to face in the game. And with what these guys are doing nowadays, coming close to 50% off speed. In the training environment, we should probably see somewhere close to that. That's something that Austin's done a really good job of being able to see some different shapes in the cage. Success come game time in terms of making sure he's in the right spot to hit.
Yeah, and it seems like just having the mindset of if you have a bad game, just forget it. Like last week, he struck out 4 times on Tuesday, hit for the cycle on Wednesday. And it kind of goes into a guy like Ramon Urias, who he's been hitting the ball hard consistently all season long and just does not have the numbers to back up what he's been doing. How do you like tell those guys to just focus on what you're doing and the results will eventually come?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we continue to preach is about the process. And with the long season, that we have, if we continue to put that work in every day and we continue to prep to focus on those important things of making hard contact, good swing decisions, and making contact in general, I think over the long haul of the season, he'll start to get some of it back. We saw some of that with Trey early on. He was making a lot of hard contact, not getting some results. He's starting to trend back towards a little bit closer to not as bad of luck as he had early on. And I think you'll see that with Ramon once he starts getting going again. So it's always frustrating as a player for sure when you're making hard contact and you can't seem to get the result. But as we continue to focus on that process of, hey, you're doing the right things, just keep doing what you're doing, and things are gonna things are going to turn around in terms of results.
Another guy, Anthony Santander, who, I mean, his walk rate has almost doubled. I know last spring training, he talked about his focus was on try to walk more, take more pitches, have better plate discipline, and didn't necessarily work out. But this year, it's been unbelievable. He's already crossed his career high in walks like a month ago. So what's going on there? And he's still hitting for power too.
Yeah, Anthony has done a great job. I'll tell you what, he prepares really, really well in terms of studying the opposing pitchers and what he thinks he's gonna get, how they're gonna try to attack him. And I think he's become really patient at the plate and only swinging at pitches that he feels like he can drive and only pitches that he's on time for. And that's not an easy thing to do. Especially with what these guys are throwing, it's not an easy thing to do. And with the training that he's continued to work through, it's been impressive to watch that transformation, and great to see for sure.
Mel Castle is a player that we've also kind of followed closely over the years, and it always strikes me when I watch him that it feels like very few people can square up on the baseball the way that he does, and he just hits the ball really hard. And for the second year in a row, he has come out of a slow start and emerged as one of the better hitters on this team. With that said, he's a young hitter. What are the things that he needs to work on and get better while at the same time continuing to build on the success that he's had?
Yeah, I think, like you said, Mount Castle is an extremely gifted hitter, and watching him put the barrel on the ball, even just in batting practice, is very fun to watch. But with him, we're just continuing to preach on swing decisions. He can hit just about any pitch, but when he gets into troubles, when he chases a little bit too much out of the zone, and guys throw those breaking balls, down and away. And I think the more that he continues to get that experience of understanding how guys are going to attack him, especially when he's feeling good, and understand where that ball needs to start for it to be a pitch that he can drive, and how he can combat what they're trying to do to him. I think that's how he's going to continue to improve and progress through his career. And I tell you what, he could be a very, very good hitter in this league. He's already doing some impressive stuff. But I think it wouldn't be a shock for me to see his name up there with some of the best guys in the league.
Well, exciting stuff for sure. Just maybe more so you personally, now that you're halfway through your first year with the Orioles, have you sat down and thought about, what are your goals for the rest of this season as we watch this year play out? And this team continues to exceed expectations kind of day in and day out. But from your point of view, from a hitting coach's point of view, what's the plan the rest of the year here?
Our goal is always to continue to help these players get better. We want them to perform on a nightly basis for sure, but we also want that to continue to progress throughout the season, especially with the young players, but with all the players in general. Like we were talking about, Santander had some improvements, and we want to continue to help him improve in all the areas that he needs to be the best he can be. So I think the biggest goal is just every day we're trying to help these guys get better. One, we got to be prepared in what we're doing, and also, like I said, we just have to make sure that we're trying to help these guys get better every single day. And they've done an excellent job of doing that. It's going to be more challenging as the season goes on and start to get a little bit tired towards the end. But the more that we can preach to these guys the importance of that preparation of their body and their mind, and understanding how guys are going to attack them and what to expect when they step into the box, I think is where we're going to continue to have that progression.
Last question for me is, what is the clubhouse chemistry like? Because it just seems like such a fun group of guys in there that are having a good time and always battle back. I think the record is I can't remember exactly, but a fantastic record when they lose by 5 or more runs. The next day they come back and win more times than not. Just what's the atmosphere like in there?
Yeah, it's been great. It's fun to have guys like Chirinos and Odor and some of the other veterans to kind of keep things loose. And they know, the challenges of the season and how it can be tough losing. But I think they've found a great piece within our group to help have that mindset that it doesn't really matter what happened yesterday. We're coming here today to win the game. And I think especially over this last stretch, Like we feel like we can win every single time we come to the ballpark. And, we just fell short a little bit the last game. But even then, we're down and we have no doubts that we can get into any game. And, that's an exciting feeling to have in the clubhouse.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for your time today, and best of luck in Seattle and the rest of the way in the 2022 season.
Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.